WRPB and WRPB Studios. Okay, so I'm going to attempt to introduce my two guests. Okay, and I'm going to name their company first, and then I'll go over their names. It's Unity Movement and Mindfulness,
Correct.
and we have Taylor, which would be you,
That's me.
and Carolyn.
Yes.
Okay, I had to get that out. And you guys know me for a long time, and as I get older, I forget stuff in like 2 seconds. You know, people joke about I walk into a room and I forgot what I don't even get to the room and I forget. All right, so what is Unity Movement and Mindfulness?
Sure. So Unity Movement and Mindfulness is an organization dealing with anything movement and mindfulness. So in terms of movement, we can do anything from yoga to boxing. And when we do the mindfulness aspect, we're talking about meditation, breathing techniques, mindfulness practices. And whether we're doing one or the other, if we're doing movement, we always try to do it mindfully.
I would think that they would blend together.
Yeah, absolutely. And, if you were to take these disciplines, somewhere else, you'd probably be practicing mindfulness. But we make sure that that's apparent and brought forward into what we teach people.
And what I'm going to guess is that if you were doing them, you'd probably do them at two different locations with different people. Like you kind of blended it together.
Yes, yes.
We did.
Okay, so how long are you around the industry?
Over 10 years.
Both of you?
Yeah, we met at a martial arts studio where we were both studying Kung Fu and got into yoga from there. So, yeah, we've been
Okay, so
doing
you
this
do
together
yoga?
for a long time.
Yes. Yes,
Do you
I'm-
find it
Uh-huh.
to be a benefit for you?
Yes, it's life-changing.
Is it?
Yes. Doing yoga was one of the best things I ever did for myself.
Okay, so because you're doing this 10 years,
Mhm.
what did you do prior? What kind of work did you do prior?
Prior, I did manual labor
Okay.
for a large part of my life. I worked in the restaurant industry.
Oh.
I did, yeah.
That's
yeah.
a lifestyle, that's not a job.
It's tough.
Yeah.
The hours are tough. Being on your feet, whether you're in the kitchen or on the floor, front of house, it's tough. I also did construction in my early years.
It's interesting because what I find is a lot of people that I talk to who do yoga came from blue collar work, manual labor type work, and they find that benefit for their bodies within doing that kind of stuff. Now, why'd you get into it?
I got into it because I had brought my children to the martial arts studio and they offered yoga there, and so I took classes while they were doing their martial arts program.
So your kids were doing martial arts,
Mhm.
and you were being babysat in yoga.
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly.
Normally it's the other way around.
100%.
Yeah, and then I was I was a much better mother when I came out of there. I had my stuff together. I was mentally organized, emotionally organized, so I think it was a benefit.
Did you find mindfulness when you were doing yoga, or was it kind of just yoga?
You kind of do the practice, the physical practice, and then it's like the mindfulness is snuck in there because you're trying to think of where to put your body and how to hold the poses and then breathe at the same time, and it can be
Breathing is
intimidating.
important.
Yeah,
I would think breathing is really important. And you guys know me, and I only have 60% lung function. I lost 40% lung function. So doing some of that stuff is a little difficult for me. Why did you get into it?
I got into it because at the time I had a demanding career and I was looking to do something for myself. I knew I needed to have some type of activity, a healthy hobby, something for my physical body and my mental wellness.
Fishing didn't cut it for you?
No,
Oh, okay.
no,
I
I
was
could
just-
never fish. I never had the patience. Now I probably could, Now
And
I
again,
probably could.
I have ADHD. Now it's
Okay.
a big deal, but I'm older than dirt. So when I got it as a kid, there was no take this pill, take it. It was nothing. You just dealt with it. As a parent, my parents dealt with it. And
Yeah.
I'm here 66 years later, and I'm still have it.
Yeah.
Okay? It's like, talking to look at a squirrel. Okay? So I think that yoga
Mhm.
probably would calm that down within me.
hmm
Yes, no, maybe.
I agree. My son has ADHD as well. He'll tell you that the yoga and what he called slow kung fu when he took Tai Chi at the martial arts studio improved his focus. He practiced boxing with Taylor as well, and that was probably the time when he had the best grades was when he
Really?
was boxing. Yeah.
Interesting. So, who's your clientele? Like off the air, we was talking that
Yeah.
basically you're kind of training people in boxing and all that stuff, and you're kind of doing the mindfulness and the yoga. Who's your clientele?
Anybody. We serve anybody that's has a need, and we
Is there
try
an
to be
age
available for
group
everybody.
that you deal with?
There is, I guess, a typical age. Either you're an adult or you're a youth or adolescent.
How young do you deal with?
So we've just started working with a group. We were down in Palm Beach. We just finished up that, but they were kindergartners
Oh, wow.
and elementary school kids. Yeah.
Yeah. and we've
Now I'm going
worked
to put
with-
you. Now I'm going to put him on the spot.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Who's easier to train, the guys or the girls?
You know, I think everybody is progresses at their own speed. You know, different things
Good
people
avoid.
catch.
Good way to
Quicker.
avoid the question.
I've been working on that one for a while. I knew I had to be on my toes,
Right.
just like in boxing.
So, when it comes to mindfulness,
Yeah.
okay, I get it in yoga and stuff. Is it the same in boxing and the things that you teach also?
Sure, 100%. You know, we're trying to approach things cool, calm, and collected. Right, is a phrase that I used to hear growing up, and that's how we do yoga and boxing. You know, if I just go into the boxing ring, into the gym, or into a boxing match, and you know, I'm just flailing around and I'm not thinking, I'm not in control of my body and my mind. I'm just really having a panic attack. You know.
Interesting.
Yeah, and we work with those things in yoga too. So in yoga, we're also putting our body into a difficult situation, a difficult circumstance, which is kind of the pose. You know, you see some people doing these human pretzels and things like that,
Yeah,
and it's
I
like,
can barely stand.
yeah,
Okay.
Yeah.
What's the oldest age that you deal with? Or that you've dealt
right
with?
now we have a student who's 82.
Oh, wow, he's
And-
older than me.
Yeah.
I didn't
yeah.
think anybody was older than me.
Uh-huh. And he can do it all. Of course, he's able to get on and off the mat. Taylor's worked with other seniors that are chair bound. We've also
Oh,
had high school
interesting.
students who are wheelchair bound as well. So I mean, I think to Taylor's point, it's for anyone.
So, I mean, what's the future for your company? I mean, you're doing mindfulness, you're doing yoga, you're doing boxing, you're doing breathing. What's the future? Are you going to grow into more, for lack of a better word, modalities? Or just
Sure.
work on the ones you have?
Sure. I think there is a chance, there is potential to add a few modalities, as long as we stay under, you know, that concept of movement with mindfulness. Okay. And for the future, I mean, I think it's more and more evident now that we're humans and that we need, you know, movement and we need, you know, mental health. And we weave them both together. And I think some studies are coming out these days about the benefits of mindfulness, benefits of yoga, benefits of martial arts, whether it's boxing, kickboxing, Muay Thai, Jiu-Jitsu. So I could see us adding a few more modalities and doing them the way we do everything, you know, mindful.
Yeah, we just had a birthday celebration for our 4th year in operation,
Cover?
and we had a Zumba teacher teach
Oh, okay.
just before the yoga class, and it was just that combination of fun and connection, and doing something purposeful.
So, let me ask you this, because
Mhm.
just from things that I think I know, which I probably don't, but I guess if you come into yoga, you have to buy a mat. What do you need for yoga in your classes?
Good question.
What does one need?
Pretty much just your body.
Well, you need a mat.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. Sometimes I just use a towel.
Really?
Or the bare floor, the ground is great for.
Okay, in boxing and stuff, I guess more things are needed.
Well, sure. It's depending on where you are, right? If you're starting, you can come with no gloves, okay? And we can start training there. If you're meeting me in person, you know, I could offer you a pair of gloves. We have equipment. And we also offer virtual classes, okay? So where you're going to learn technique, you're going to get a great workout, and you're going to have a lot of fun. And those classes are, you don't necessarily need any equipment. You can do it right in your living room, small space in your bedroom, closet, maybe even. I don't know if that's enough room. You get the idea.
Well, yeah. So, how long are classes? Like a yoga class? How long is
A
it?
yoga class will be 45 minutes to an hour, so not much of your time.
And boxing and training? How long are classes?
The same.
Same thing.
Yeah, typically the same.
Do you have hours that you are at your place, or that people, or is it? And to add to that question, is it set up that, we have yoga from Tuesday at 7 to 8, or I mean, do you break it down like that, or do people just show? Do you have to make a reservation? How does that work?
Yeah, so we encourage people to go out to the site and book a class, just the same way other studios operate individually. We do have morning classes and then evening classes and a lunch style of class. So we try to
Lunch.
meet
That's
people.
that's
Yeah.
my thing. Lunch.
Yeah.
There you
Oh,
go.
that's
There you go.
If that's with food, I
We'll be
could do
getting
that.
a
Where are we
salad
going?
I can do it if it has to do with food. What about somebody, and you kind of breached the subject a little bit, like someone like me. All right, so I'm a little older, a lot older. I have only 6% lung function. I've had bypass surgery, and I had 2 strokes. Is there programs designed for people? I mean, I do everything anyway because I just push myself, and I think that that's important. And I know that breathing is probably, out of everything you got to do, probably one of the most important things in what you do and in what you do. And I know that you integrate it in what you do. But what about for someone who, like, to take a yoga class, in my mind, it seems like it would be difficult for someone like me because one is I don't breathe as well, and 2 is if once you said, all right, everybody lay down on the mat, someone will have to push me and say, stop snoring, okay? Because I'm always tired. Will this, like, I know breathing will bring extra energy and stuff into your lungs, but the movements, is someone who has issues like I do, are we able to take classes and do the things like that?
Yeah, the first pose in yoga is sitting.
Like I said,
There you go. And from there,
45 minutes of sitting, but that's a lot because I have ADHD.
Yeah.
But like I said,
The way we were taught to teach is, to meet each individual where they're at. So we might have somebody who's skilled in the corner doing, their movements, and might be working with, someone at a different capacity, different level, to just take it apart piece by piece.
interesting. We're getting tough for our time. How do people find you? You have a website?
We do. The website is unitymovementmindfulness.com.
And a phone number?
803-389-3439.
You're lucky you brought her.
I know.
Everybody, here's the thing, and this is just my opinion. You've heard it a million times. Always use a professional, okay? Because I believe, and I could be wrong, doing it on your own could be dangerous, okay? So use a professional. You'll save yourself 10 times the frustration and probably save money. With that, I want to thank you guys for coming on.
Thanks for having us.
Everybody will be right back.
Thank you.